Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure for us to uh, come join you again in this new episode of the Teaching Tidbits series. We were happy to start this week with, as you might remember, with our distinguished guest, Interim President Daisy Coco de Filipes. And now we have another guest, distinguished guest, our Interim Provost, Dr. Charles Drago. And we're very, very excited to have this conversation and to get to know more about the person, be able to have a conversation and gaining tips, hearing from tips from his experience and how he has been approaching this process in transition. And I have my partner in crime, Diana Macri, who is going to also joining me to in this live episode. Hi, Diana. How are you doing?
Hello, Carlos. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our second installment of Teaching Tidbits for the spring 2021 semester. We had a really great time with Professor De Filipes I lose track of time. All I know right now is that it's Friday and I'm feeling really great, and I hope you guys are feeling really great too. We have our guest this afternoon, a VIP, Dr. Charles Drago, who is the Acting Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. He has served as an academic chairperson of the Allied Health Department and as unit coordinator of RadTech for many years. Throughout his 20-year tenure at Hostos Community College, Dr. Drago has served and led numerous committees. He is the current president of the Association of Educators in Radiologic Technology in New York State and the president-elect of the Association of Educators in Rad Sciences, which represents the United States and parts of Europe. Dr. Drago earned a doctorate in health education from A.T. Still University in Arizona and is a graduate of Pennsylvania State Leadership Academy. Dr. Drago is a certified radiologic technologist with the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists. I would just like to say it's been a pleasure. He's been my chair for quite a few years. I've been here at Hostos for 7 years now, and a truly generous and kind and good person. Good afternoon, Dr. Drago.
Good afternoon. You humble me. You humble me, Dr. Macri.
You flatter me. I'm not a doctor yet, but maybe one day.
You will be.
So, like we told Dr. De Filipes a few days ago, that the Teaching Tidbits is something we came up with just for faculty, educated faculty that have been around for a while, to help the newer faculty to kind of give us some tips on what got you through. And so that'll be kind of the questions that we ask of you today. And so we're going to start off just by saying, how did you feel the first day on the job as provost of Hostos? And we're going to contrast that with how do you feel right now?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, I was scared. I kept on saying to myself, I hope I do a good job and don't let anybody down. But yet it was surreal. Because the first time I drove to Hostos Community College, I went as a substitute teacher 21 years ago. And here I pulled up to the college, and I remember looking over and saying, wow, that parking spot's for me, and I'm in a different building, and it felt very surreal. And my main concern was I wanted to make sure I do a good job. And I really wanted to get to know the faculty even better so I can help people and guide people. How do I feel right now? I feel more comfortable, yet I have to stay on my toes because certainly after 5.5, 6 months, I do not know everything. The provost is a growing position, but I feel comfortable. And sometimes there are days when I'm saying, gee, I thought I knew this job so well and something comes up that I don't. And then I have to go over to my two favorite mentors, Dr. Daisy Coco de Filipes and SVP Esther Rodriguez Chardevoin. Those two women have been my rock. I know that they're there, so being comfortable lies with the both of them on my side. But every day I get up and I say to myself, what good am I going to do today? And I try my very best. And that's how I feel.
Beautiful. I'm sure it must have been a very hard transition.
It was a hard transition in a way because here I am. I was a chair of a department, and I also had a dual role as the coordinator of the radiologic technology program. And now I stepped up into being the acting provost. So it was quite challenging. Yes, yes. So,
Carlos, we can't hear you.
It usually happens from time to time.
that's
Uh,
okay. It's all good.
Along those lines, as you now have to provide vision and support to the wider college community, and we are seeing our students struggling and going through different times in this period. How have students changed since you began teaching, and what advice do you have for faculty who are trying to understand this generation of students?
Well, I think faculty and students both have changed. And let me say, when I started here 21 years ago, again, I had notes, and that's how I taught, with a blackboard, a piece of chalk, and some notes, and I walked around. Then eventually we had slides, right? And then from there, from the slides, we did overlays. And then from overlays, we went to PowerPoints. And I thought that was the ultimate thing, PowerPoints. But then I was trained on Blackboard about 2 years ago or a year ago, and I saw all these different platforms that could be used. So I think students change with technology. I think students are the same no matter what. They're the same. They come with the same issues no matter what, but they want answers a little faster due to the technology. And in order to address their issues and concerns and helping them, we have to stay abreast of technology as well. Now, I think the problem with sometimes with the faculty is we get scared. We're scared of things. I remember in the beginning when I first did some of my PowerPoint presentations, I would press the wrong button on the computer and say, "Oh my God, what next?" And a student in the front row would get up and say, "Professor, I think if you press this button, it'll work." So I learned from the students. Meanwhile, the students learn from me. We learn together and we move forward. So basically, this generation of students is more technical. They are up with things. They have the wonderful phone, okay, that they use for everything. What I found most perplexing over the years was sometimes I would write an assignment on a board, even if I wrote something on a whiteboard. And instead of watching people write it down, everyone rushed the board and took the pictures with the phone. And I was like, wow, am I at the Academy Awards here? Everyone's taking pictures of me. But no, they were telling me, step aside, we're taking a picture of that. And I was like, okay, and I mean, submitting papers online and things like that, I had to learn. For some reason, students take to technology more than the faculty. I've been in restaurants where a child is not behaving that's 3 or 4 years old, and I've seen a parent go like this, here, with the phone and playing on the phone. I'm like, how do you access a game? I don't even know how to do that. It is kind of funny. You learn as you go. But I think, again, with this generation of students, understanding them is understanding their technology. The problems are the same. The concerns are the same. Tutoring is tutoring. It's the method of delivery. And again, that comes with Carlos doing his wonderful thing, Carlos Guevara teaching us faculty things and being patient. And my best advice is to stay abreast, be patient, and be open-minded to whatever comes your way.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that. Today I was reading the Semanario, and Wilfredo got the Hero of the Week, and I don't think nobody deserves Hero of the Week more than Wilfredo Rodriguez, if only because he helps me very much. Because I'll go to him and David DeSantos also in EdTech. I torture them on a regular basis. So I have to agree, our EdTech department is really very patient with us faculty. You have a reputation as an outgoing, generous, and approachable administrator. However, there have been times, no doubt, that you've had to make tough decisions. What advice do you have for faculty who have to make tough decisions regarding their pedagogy and students' performance?
Okay, so the first thing I have to say is sometimes the worst things happen with the best intentions. That's the first thing I'm going to say. And I think that we have to understand there are consequences to all our actions. Sometimes we do things without thinking. Sometimes things happen. We make a rash decision. So I think sometimes with students and faculty, we have to take a step back. Number one, never act upon emotion. Never write an email. Never approach a student based on emotion. Sit back, think about it. Somebody told me something years ago. Write an email exactly how you feel, then don't touch it for a day. Then go back the next day and look at it and see if you feel the same way. And I guarantee you that nobody feels the same way. So when a student approaches me and there's a situation, I sit them down very calmly and I tell them, what's going on? Tell me, why did you do what you did? And I always sit down, I come around from behind my desk and I sit down on a couch or at a table so I can meet the student at eye level and show them that I'm there for them. And same with the faculty. I sit down if there's an argument or something and I say to them, tell me what's really going on. And then I put that person in the circumstances, like a different type of circumstances, say, now what would you do? And usually they answer the way that I would take care of the situation. And I explained to them there's consequences to all our actions, and this is going to be a consequence as far as that goes. So when dealing with a student or a faculty member, I think taking a deep breath, looking at things different ways, understanding what's going on, and saying to them, there are consequences, and these are the consequences, is the best way to go about things. I hope I answered that question the right way that you would like to address it.
No, I think you did. And I have to say, when Carlos and I were thinking of what we really wanted to pick your brain about, I said, we really have to point out that it is really, you have just a lovely personality and you have a really nice way of approaching things and of approaching people. And I'm sure that you've had to make some really tough calls and tough decisions that you have to live with. I recently had a tough decision that I had to face myself. I tossed and I turned and I thought and I asked friends, and what do you do? And what do you do? And ultimately, I even said to myself, you just got to pick a choice, and only time will tell if you made the right choice. Sometimes we make the wrong choice. We go the wrong way with it. But
Diana, in all the years that I've been in, a chair, a professor, no one has ever left my office upset that I know of. I know that sounds crazy, but as a chair, I have many people come into my office about disputing a grade or disputing that. And when you sit down and you start to talk to people, they're not really so upset about that grade. They're really upset about something else that happened, like they couldn't study for whatever reason. Their mother got sick, whatever the case may be, and they're upset with that situation. And I always look at the student, even if I catch a student cheating, I bring them in the office and I tell them, I'm very disappointed that you're cheating, and I'm more upset that you couldn't come to me and tell me why you couldn't study for this test. So sit down and tell me what's going on. And I've gotten a lot of things like, my kid got sick last night. I have a daughter. I know what it is for a kid to get sick. I said, well, why didn't you come to me? Because we can always solve any pedagogy or student performance issues if they're honest and open. There's nothing wrong with a professor saying, all right, go home, don't take the test if you're upset. I've had people come in, just to backtrack, that their husband had to go to the hospital and they ran in to take a test. And you know what I did? Go home, take care of your husband. When you come back, we'll give you another test a month from now. We had a policy and we give the student a chance. I mean, there's always something you can do to help students. As far as the pedagogy go, it's the same thing that goes with the professors. A lot of times students challenge professors or professors challenge students. You got to look at the situation, dissect it without emotion, and do what's best. And another thing I always have to tell myself is you can't make everybody happy. For me, for years, I wanted everybody to like me. It's impossible. People will not like you because I smile, because I wear glasses, whatever the case may be. You're not going to please everybody. You can do your best.
I love what Charmaine, we have this is running live, and so we get to see the chats from people that are watching you right now. And a woman named Charmaine actually says you are an active listener, and I think that's beautiful the way that she said that, because it is exactly what you do.
Well, Diana, I think the most effective form of communication is listening. I have published an article many years ago about that. Listening is key. People don't want to hear what I have to say when they come into the office. They want to be heard. So you listen, then you state your case. You say you're done, and then so listening is important.
That we are very happy for all of the great advice, and This also remind us to let people who are tuning in to make sure that you write your questions in the comments in the chat, to make sure that we are able to also, uh, provide an opportunity for our provost to answer to you directly. So make sure you start typing your questions. And as this period of transition has been a sense of immediacy, the amount of stress, how faculty, and not only faculty at Hostos, but everywhere, have felt this overwhelming uh, sense of rushing and trying to learn a new skill and then yet another skill and not having enough time to digest. Um, in your experience, what would be some advice on the best ways people can handle these challenges?
My advice is one day at a time. One day at a time. This has been a very daunting year between COVID and COVID, rather, 19 virus and social justice issues in our country, presidential election. Many people take things personally and they bring it to work with them a lot of times as well. And people are having a lot of challenges now. And there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of domestic violence going on because people are frustrated. And I think with the college, I mean, going from being online one day to all of a sudden, I mean, from going face to face to being online was a tremendous task. And my hat goes off to all the faculty because Carlos, you and your faculty did a wonderful job. And Madam President led us, into this, and Christine Mangino as well. And then I took over, and Daisy Coco Di Filippis at SVP. And we all worked together. We all worked together. And with that stress and stuff like that, we understand each other. And one of the main things that I did as a provost, and I'm not here to advocate for me, is to break down the silos between departments and make sure we all talk to one another and not everyone's playing boss. We're all on the same level. We talk. We've had open discussions. We can relay our feelings to one another. And I suggest that perhaps taking a walk or exercising, as you can see how fit I am, walking and exercising and stuff like that is a good way to release stress. You have to find something in life that takes that stress and alleviates it somewhat. I started reading books thanks to Madam President. She says, we have to read a book a month. And at first I says, oh, a book, where am I going to get time to read? But you know something? It opened up a whole new world for me. I can get away from Hostos. Don't tell my wife this. My wife, my daughter, the dog jumping on my lap, and I can sit down and read a book and get lost. So that's how I alleviate stress. Everybody alleviates stress a different way. They play an instrument. They do puzzling. I don't know. They watch Hawaii Five-0 reruns on Channel 3 or whatever. You find your way to relieve stress, and that's what you do. But I do want to say to everybody, if you feel that stressed, there's always somebody to talk to. Reach out to somebody. Talk to them. We all have stress, but I think self-talking is another important thing we can all do. Talk to ourselves. Say, what am I getting stressed about? Is it really that important? Think about it. Or write it down why you feel stressed. So that's how I handle these challenges, and that's my best advice to everybody. The level of stress varies from person to person. Some people can take a little bit, some people can take a lot. But no matter, we are a family. We are Hostos Familia. And we have each other to rely on and talk to.
Why we ask these questions is because sometimes, even like myself, I always think, for what I'm going through, and then, you think that you're strong and you think you can handle it, but you really do end up looking at your friends and your supervisors and your colleagues for that, to serve as that source of strength. And so it's important to even like you said, even just say, okay, yeah, I'm aware that you guys need to take care of yourselves, to take time for yourselves. Please do that. Please keep, doing whatever it is. And when you were listing all the things that you do, the first thing that came to me is eat. I eat.
Really? I don't eat. I'm on a diet.
Why manager? Just keep eating. Okay. That'll come back. I'll regret that in a couple of months. I'll regret that.
I eat too, believe me.
I'm just handling it the best I can, You've been at the college many years, serving first as a faculty, then unit coordinator of radiologic technology, and then as chair of Allied Health Department. And you've been on dozens of committees and initiatives over the years. You know Hostos very well. What is your vision for Hostos? Where do you see us 5 years from now?
I see the college growing a little bit more. We were up to about, a few thousand, maybe 1,000 more students than we have now. But there's an old saying: sometimes you have to cut a rose bush back for it to grow and flourish even more beautifully. And I think what's going on with Hostos now, after the COVID-19 and some of the issues the college is facing, I think that this college will flourish the next 5 years. We're working on different programs. We have a wonderful department that looks at statistics of what jobs are the future. I see wonderful programs starting, a dialysis program. We're in the process of taking an LPN program and merging it with aging and health studies to give students a degree. We have a lot of other programs that we're working on. I see also a bit more diversity as the neighborhood changes. I see some more diversity, more students coming in of different cultures and from around the world. Hostos is certainly a melting pot of all different cultures, and I think that the future of Hostos looks bright. I think we're going to have a new allied health building in a few years, I hope. Okay, and I just think that you're going to see the college grow and do much better, especially under the leadership of Dr. DeFilippis. She's very good at reaching out to the community and understanding our community. And I do as well, and so does SVP and the faculty. And I really can see, again, not to be repetitious, that the college is growing and flourishing. We are a hidden diamond in the Bronx, okay? We are a diamond that shines, and we've been discovered, okay? But we need to spread the word a little more, and so we can grow. And that's what I have to say. I think this college is wonderful. I've been here 21 years. My only regret is sitting in traffic on the Bruckner. But after being in the House for the last year, I welcome the Bruckner and all the traffic. I always say that. I will never complain again.
It's so true. I do it, just to be away from my children. I'm like, I don't care. 3 hours here is fine by me. No one's asking me for food. Yeah.
No, and then when I get off that Deegan and I see Hostos Community College, I get excited. I'm like, wow, that's where I work. I have another family there, and we're going to flourish, and we're going to grow, and we're going to get bigger and better. Will there be issues? Yes. Will there be cutbacks sometimes? Yes. Will there be growing? Yes. But with all good things come some hills and valleys, and all I can see is good things at Hostos, especially with the two of you there. You know what I mean? And other people. So that's my feeling.
Thank you. Thank you
You're welcome.
For those words. And, it's always important for us to picture where we're going and to make sure that we set our paths to accomplish that vision. As there's been more dependency on technology in this transition, in this pandemic. How would you like Hostos to develop or expand to support the increasing reliance on technology and virtual learning?
Well, I don't think we have a choice. I think that this is something that has to be done. I think monies need to be allocated to update a lot of equipment. And, Carlos, what was it before the COVID-19? How many classes were done online? About 10%, 15%?
We had about 15% of faculty already teaching hybrid and online.
I could see, I would like to see the college maybe increase that a bit in certain areas. I mean, I don't see how, like when dental and x-ray and nursing areas, I know a lot of money is spent on technology. I'd like to see all that, of course, updated. I was born in allied health, so with allied health I always say I like to see that equipment. But as far as the computer labs, I'd like to see them updated. I'd like to see perhaps more teaching platforms implemented to help professors engage in helping the students. I think that you'll see a lot more people want to teach either hybrid or synchronous or asynchronous. because it's kind of nice, and it's not easier. I can tell you that. I got my doctorate degree online, and it was a lot harder to do it online, and that's the truth. Everyone thinks it's easy. Oh, you sit at a desk from your house, and no, it's not like that. Students demand an immediate response. You have to be there for your students. You have to be up to date. They want to see your face. There's got to be engagement. So if we can put all those pieces to that puzzle into the future, I think you'll see that 15% maybe go up to 40 or 50%. There are certain areas I don't know if you really can do with an increase in like computers and online, like maybe digital music. Some of the things have to be taught, I think, face to face, if I'm correct. The music studio, the black box, those areas probably will stay more face to face. But I can see a surge across the country, and especially at Hostos, being more reliant on technology and virtual learning. I think that's the way it's going to go. But when I got my doctorate degree, I took 2 classes on methods of teaching. And there's 4 different types of methods of teaching, and this is one of them. But sometimes people like that face-to-face interaction. I mean, maybe it's because I'm an older man. I prefer the face-to-face. Even though driving to a college and parking and going up and getting it's a pain sometimes, but I like that face-to-face. I like that. But most people today with technology, I think that the virtual college is going to grow more and more. And we'll have to adapt, I guess, to what the future brings with everybody else and go from there.
I think that I've spoken to quite a few of faculty here and other colleges as well, and I think that it hasn't necessarily been a reluctance. It has been a difficult to adapt because my children are older, but a lot of our faculty brand new babies that they have, and so it's been like a learning curve multiplied times 10 because they have these issues of children at home, so childcare. And I forget where I read it, and I didn't read the whole article, but it was like innovation moving forward in COVID. And the idea was that, we need to get this some kind of childcare allowance for childcare for faculty moving forward so that they could really master these platforms. They could really master this technology as long as they have some kind of childcare available to them.
Well, I look at a couple of things. Writing is getting lost because of technology. Now, let me finish. Like, how are you? HOW, 1 letter R, 1 letter U. And, when I was teaching up until a few years ago, people actually wrote like that in a paper. They really thought that the way you text, like LOL or, laugh or something, whatever, is put in like acronyms are used or whatever. And I think the art of writing is starting to be lost. And I also think social skills are somehow compromised due to the fact that students are always doing this, or people, or not students or people, everyone's doing this. However, I think that people don't know how to socialize. I read somewhere that parents are sending their kids how to socialize and how to work with people on a face-to-face level because of all the computers and everything like that. So I think there's a give and take to this whole thing. We're human beings. We have a soul. We have a heart. Okay. We like to feel. We like to touch, shake hands, whatever, and that gets lost in the virtual world. Mm-hmm. That I don't know. It's like rolling the dice. I guess we'll have to do what society would want us to do. I mean, if it's going to be more cost effective, and if this is what people want to go virtual, then I guess we'll have to go that way. But where there's always good, there's always some bad things, like everything else.
And I want to connect to something that you said earlier, and I'm going to share a comment from one of our viewers, Isaac.
Hi, Isaac.
Active listening is a necessary tool in order to build a bridge between an older generation and a younger generation as well. I know this firsthand, and I think this is key to what you were mentioning about, listening and being purposeful while listening, and also identifying, what opportunities this whole process has given us. For once, faculty will have a lot more tools in their toolbox when they come back to the classroom, whether they come back to a face-to-face classroom or whether they they're going to be considering continuing teaching online, but they're going to have a lot more ways of engaging students, younger generations, perhaps, who are identified with the use of technology. But then this is not going to be something that is going to be strange for them, or
Right.
is going to be scary, because it has been for us in my role in bringing innovation and trying to convince faculty to move out of their comfort zone, has been, it's complex. Nobody wants to leave out of the comfort zone easily, and this, some way or another, it pushed all of us to experiment, and uh, faculty have started to identify, the things that could work and how the interactions. I've had conversations with faculty who have been teaching in arts, and then he said, like, this is a struggle. I don't want to do this, but then after a while, well, I have to do it, and they started to kind of identify what mechanisms, what approaches will work, and now they see it that although they want to come back to teach face to face, they have more tools to do it, and we will be seeing a lot of great uh, best practices in teaching and learning.
Well, I think constant reinforcement of those tools are very important. So that's where you would come in probably with having workshops, doing repetition workshops, not every week. I mean, maybe once a semester or something, to remind people that they're there. Because if you don't lose things, if you don't use it, you lose it. I think faculty has to be open-minded to all suggestions and be willing to try. Why not ask a student, look, I know we use this, but I don't remember how to do this. There's nothing wrong with saying that to a student. They can teach you too. Just because you're older and, I don't know, necessarily more wiser, doesn't mean you can't share and learn from a younger person. So it's a give and take experience. It's like that. I saw something one time on TV. It was an older man sitting in the airport, and there was a little baby sitting next to him, and the man was old. They were having a little conversation, and they were sharing something. But that said 1,000 words. That said, look, this man and this little baby are kind of, it wasn't a baby, about 2 or 3 years old, but they were kind of like talking to each other. And he was showing this older man this game, and the man was saying, oh, I see. Now you can take that to another level in a college and say, gee, we can learn from our students. How many times, and I'll say I'm on the phone, I'd say, oh, the phone got stuck. And the student will say, here, give it to me, I'll fix it for you. And in 2 minutes, they fix it. How'd you do that? I says, I never knew the phone can do that. And the same principle applies to technology. You can learn from each other. Be open-minded. Listen. Repetition is important, and you have to feel comfortable with the technology. That's what's most important.
Yeah, I think this is we I had this feeling also when I spoke to our president also, just like this. It feels good as a faculty to have leading with compassion. Very compassionate, both of you are very generous and compassionate, and kind of enforcing that message. We have also another beautiful comment Nick made about in our chat over here. You're really hitting a nerve with the people that are watching you today. So he's saying that people are feeling isolated, people are feeling lonely, and so the best thing we could do as faculty is maybe stop obsessing over this technology, and kind of bring it back to that kind of grounding energy that we all want. Really, at the end of the day, we all want. I want my students to know that I'm there for them. And really, I know that my students just want to please me and make me happy, and they don't want to disappoint me. So if we can both break everything down and not feel so encumbered by the technology, we can connect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I tell you a little story about something? I thought I wouldn't have much to say. I'm sorry.
You're doing great. Yeah, no.
Okay, so, I think a person has to understand they don't know everything. So when I was working in an emergency room one time, I had to take some x-rays of a baby. And I took the x-rays of the baby, and I put up the x-rays. Oh, the baby has pneumonia. So the guy that I was working with was a much older man. At the time, I was a pup, about 32 years old. And the man I was working with was about 60. He said, Charlie, take that x-ray over. It's not good. I said, what do you mean it's not good? It's good. I was only an x-ray tech about a year. I said, what are you talking about? His name was Neville, great guy. So I says, Neville, what? He says, Charlie, listen to me. You don't have to. I'm not your boss. But take it over the right way. It's a little bit light. Now, I thought I was the X-ray tech of the year. I could have gotten the Academy Award of all X-rays. So I said, something told me take it over. I took the X-ray over, and when I put it up, the baby did not have pneumonia because I was a little bit soft on the X-ray. And it just goes to show you how I thought I knew everything, but I listened to somebody else, okay, and I was wrong. Now, what would have happened? That patient would have been probably diagnosed as having pneumonia, given antibiotics, okay, and God knows what other things that would have been done. So by listening to somebody else with more experience that was much older than me, I learned something. And that goes both ways. We can learn from the student as well with technology. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it's very, very important to listen. Don't always think you're right and I'm the big boss, whatever. Just listen to what people have to say and they can help you. Be open-minded.
Agreed.
Sorry.
That was exactly our intention. We wanted to make sure that we get to know you. That's the idea of this space, and also the people that are joining us. They're also starting to contribute. Thanks to Ernest for tuning in.
Yes, look at Ernest. Thanks, Ernest.
He has a comment here. Speaking of compassion, how can we help faculty who are frustrated with online teaching as they were never comfortable with it before and it will continue for the seeming future?
Well, I think how we can help is, I believe in mentoring. If you have somebody that is uncomfortable with online teaching, perhaps assigning them somebody or asking somebody to mentor them, to work with them, give them their phone number, or they say, hey, look, I'm having problems with this. Can we talk on a Zoom and maybe do some stuff? I think that would help. I mean, as far as making somebody feel comfortable, like the ship's not going down alone. You're going to pull me out and help me. So I think that a mentoring within a department would be a big help. Or as a chair, and Ernest is an excellent chair, telling people, talk to me. Let's talk about it. What do you need help with? And then going either to you, Carlos, or Wilfredo, or somebody, and saying, look, I got a person that needs help, and perhaps giving them a one-on-one, or making a class. If, say, Dr. Yolongo comes to you and says, I got 3 people that are not comfortable, maybe we can do a private session and help them and assign them a mentor. That's what we can do. I think the biggest problem sometimes with people is they're afraid. There's the fear factor. Mm-hmm. You have to break down the wall of fear and say, I'm going to tackle this. What is the worst thing that's going to happen? I pressed the wrong button. So then I tell the students, hold on, I got to figure it out. Now, if you have a mentor, you can write to them and say, oh my God, I'm stuck. How am I going to help me? Or, and they can help you. That's the way I think this should be handled.
And just to add to what you said, we have seen a lot of moments when we have faculty who had that hesitance in asking for help. So one of the things has been trying to kind of ask a couple of questions, because we more or less knew what was going on and what were the things that were going on. And so, but we try to make sure that we identify and try to make the faculty more comfortable and trusting before then identifying what they come to. And I'm very fortunate to work with a great team of professionals who are more than willing to provide support to faculty. And for us, the one-on-ones have been the more productive support opportunities that we have for faculty. So, and well, Ernest knows how to contact us. So that is
Ernest never asks a question. I'm surprised. Ernest. All right, I'm joking.
And then we have. I want to quickly thank the people who have been joining us through the different social media platforms. From LinkedIn, we have Isaac, we have Berta Jimenez Antonio, Charmaine, and then Charmaine has been sharing a couple of comments about the things that you have been saying. You're an active listener. You have the characteristics of a servant leader.
That's so nice. Oh,
Beautiful.
We
Yeah.
have
that's nice.
Nick
Thank you.
Deneb. We heard from Nick Deneb. Also, Teresa Carol Brown. Mentoring approach is an excellent idea.
Mm.
And then we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And then we have one question from Teresa. Any thoughts on virtual faculty lounges so that faculty could share and learn? And feel free to share ideas without scrutiny.
I will make that happen, Teresa. I can make that happen. We've had a couple of open discussions, and I'll make that happen. I will. As a matter of fact, I'll write that down. I'll put it on my provost list, and we will have some active virtual. I think Diana, you had some faculty lounges, didn't you?
We started that last semester. It's called the Virtual Lounge, and it's the sessions that faculty get together to just shoot the breeze. I will say that the challenge with those is when things are online or when you're recording things, even myself, I'm a rather open person, but even myself, I'm like, oh, I can't say that, I shouldn't say that, or whatever. But we do have them. The Center for Teaching and Learning will be hosting those.
Yeah, right.
We have
You did a great job with that.
Council that will be jumping in and doing that. But thank you to everyone for joining us today. It's really, these sessions are a lot of fun for us to do. So we like to see that we have a lot of guests here and enjoying it.
How many people are watching? A lot?
847. Is that about right, Carlos? 847?
Oh, well,
And then, it's kind of interesting that we have Teresa, but it's not Teresa, and it's Terrence Brown. So Terrence is using another profile. Huh?
Terrence!
We got you, Terrence.
Another great guy like Ernest. Both of them, they're great.
They are. Really.
I do want to say something, though. Carlos, you brought up something about fear. When I used to teach, and I'm always a teacher, I still say I'm still teaching, my opening line is, no question is stupid. Okay? You can ask as many times as you want. That's what I'm here for. And that should follow over to the professors. Sometimes because you're a professor, you're supposed to put on this aura that you know it all, and you're afraid to say, I don't know that. There's nothing wrong with saying to somebody, I don't know. But I'll find out. And I think that's important. No one should be fearful of learning. It's not good. I think I would rather see people be honest and say, I don't know how to fix that problem. Maybe you can help me. And most people are very perceptive to that, and they're very helpful. With that said.
This has been wonderful, and we're very happy to have you here, and I'm sure that the people that joined us through social media and the ones that are going to be watching this episode right after we finish the live streaming, they're going to enjoy it and learn a lot from your tips. And we want to also mention that there's going to be more of these teaching tidbits coming up. We have a number of colleagues that are from Hostos and from us outside of Hostos that are going to be joining us. And we're hoping that this space becomes an opportunity for us to reach out our community, Hostos community and beyond, in a different way. Any final thoughts that you want to share, Charlie, with faculty, students, staff?
I want to say that no man is an island, and taking on this job as an acting provost, I would not be successful if it wasn't for everybody else in this college. I mean, Daisy Coco de Filippis and myself and Esther, we may steer the ship, but everybody on the ship is important, and everybody is what they feel and what they have to say, I feel is important. And I want to thank everybody for supporting me, the chairs, the faculty, everybody for supporting me. And it's been an honor and a pleasure so far to represent the faculty and the college. And I'm very humbled by this. And I thank you all. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day and blessings to everybody. Thank you.
With that said, thank you, Diana, for being my co-host. And until we see you in the next Teaching Tidbits, thanks, everyone.
Have a great week.